Hi, I'm August, and this is Alchemy of Sexual Healing. And now we're going to talk about the third part of the healing path of the story. We've talked about the first part, how you began, and everything seems, normal. And then it gets an awakening happens, or in Joseph Campbell terms, a call for the hero, the heroine, to move forward on their path. And then that middle part where you start having to deal with the dark forces and the shadow and that sort of thing. So the third part is about realizing, okay, so in my case, I've started working with some of these elements of the sexual abuse. And part of me was so incapacitated that it formed what in psychology is called a shadow. It's the part of ourselves that we don't know, we haven't owned, we haven't integrated, basically. Everybody has one. It depends on what you've gone through and what your journey is as far as what yours contains. But specifically for sexual abuse that happens to children, including the incest taboo, it is about the body and about having a way to bring that mostly silent, unseen, shunted away with shame place to the forefront. And to bring it to the forefront, I've never had it happen without having to go through all of the stuck energies that have been festering down there since I was just a little tiny girl. So there's a lot. And honestly, when I first started going through it, it scared me so much I couldn't do it. But eventually I had to keep trying because I wasn't getting better. So I started being able to communicate with these parts of me by feeling what I was going through. And it is really treacherous because the trick is not to get caught up in it. And that's why I'm doing these videos, because now that I'm through it and I've had 3.5 decades of doing this work, I'm through the first and second parts of this story, and I don't know, because I'm still here on the earth, and we'll see what happens. But I'm at that place where I've integrated a lot of the shadow, and there's always more shadow. I mean, that's part of being human. But the recognition of what happened is finally, that has coalesced and been integrated. It took me decades to do that. I so did not want to think that that's what my life had entailed when I was little, because there were other really good things about it, and really other good things about those people. They weren't all bad. They weren't just monsters. The most effective monsters, if you've noticed in movies, are the ones that are real. They are, part just a regular person, and then they're partly a monster. I did a lot of research on a killer that was called BTK. I did a lot of research on a lot of killers for a long time. I couldn't figure out why I was so embarrassed by it, but I needed to understand the dark forces and how they worked, because now there's all this research into serial killers, but there was this person that they hadn't figured out who he was yet. And I think in the beginning when I heard about him, they hadn't found him yet. And it had been like 30 years that he had been doing these things, these killings. And he was caught because he wrote a letter to the police from his church. He had a position in the church. And the people around him, all those years, his wife, his kids, friends, they had no idea this man was going out and killing people, including children. So, DNA proved it was him and that sort of thing. And then his family found out, and, how horrifying. I mean, I think it's horrifying just to deal with what I've dealt with that happened, that people around me told me didn't, and I had to keep going until I started understanding what did happen, not through my mind, but through my body. So at the last third of the process, more and more and more obstacles come up. which doesn't sound very easy to deal with, but here's the thing. It makes you stronger and stronger and stronger every time you get through something. And then you start getting confident. Confident is the wrong word. I gained some confidence. It's never fun or incredibly easy to deal with. But each time I have a new realization and I understand, sometimes I even will have memories. And sometimes something is just downloaded, pure. I could just, like once, while the pandemic was going on, I was sitting in Lima, in my place in Lima. I was in Peru for 3 years. And all of a sudden, everything just sort of came to me, coalesced in my mind. Of course, I was meditating every day and doing a lot of inner work and that sort of thing. So I'm always doing that because I feel better if I do. But what my point is that I wasn't going through a lot of angst or anything like that. I was just simply relaxed and open. And I remember I had sort of cleansed and released some emotion. So there's a lot of energy work you can do to release emotion, a lot of alchemical work, and I've been working shamanically a lot. That got me through faster than anything else did, because all shamanism really is, in my experience, is anthropomorphizing energies. You know, you have power animals and guides and all this stuff. It's just energy. But as a human, it's easier for me to put these anthropomorphized labels that I can understand, my psyche can get around, you know, and it makes it easier to walk through the process with these energies that way. So shamanism has been incredibly helpful. You just have to find what works for you, and journaling has been helpful, and making art, making films, writing, fiction and nonfiction. Anything you can do creatively is amazingly helpful through this process. And in fact, the more healing you do, the more you'll see your creativity blossoming. To me, that's the biggest gift of all. I have become so creative. It's like there's such depth to the work. There's such darkness and light, because here in this third aspect of the narrative, of the story of the alchemy of sexual healing, life continues with obstacles, but now the hero or the heroine is able to confront them and move forward into more and more light, because more and more shadow is embraced and transformed. And that's what I wish for you.